welcome to class. Welcome to day 4 of our Excel training. Excel from beginners to advanced. I remain your instructor, Genesis Noble. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from in the world. So today we'll be looking at a very important topic in Excel or aspect of Excel, which is function, and we'll also be looking at errors in Excel. I would like us to start with the errors. We have few errors. One of it is hash error. Hash error occurs when the space is not enough. You are trying to enter something and the space is not enough. It will result to hash error. We have the value error. Value error occurs when you're trying to perform calculation, arithmetic calculation with a text, right? We also have spell error. That's actually a new error in Office 365 and Office 2021. It occurs when there is a text blocking the reference. We'll look at that shortly. We also have reference error when you delete a precedent after calculation. Then we also have division error, right? So let's look at that quickly. I'll open the reference tab and let's see what we have here. Okay, so let's start with the hash error. I'll just close this. This is hash error. You can see it already. This error occurs when when the space is not enough to contain the value that have been entered in a cell. For you to resolve this error, what do? You just have to increase the space, right? Increase the column. You see, the column have been increased. For you to increase the column, you stand on this grid line, drag it to reduce, drag it to the left to reduce, and drag it to the right to increase. Alternatively, you can just double click on the grid line. Once you double click, it will resize the column to take the length of the longest string or text in that very place or value. Okay. So the next error we'll be looking at is called value error. We saw value error the other day. I told us this NGN and the comma we see here, they were not entered manually. The NGN, which is Nigerian Naira, was formatted. How do you know if it was formatted or if it was computed? If you check here, I am in G6 now. You can see the value of cell G6, which is what, 4,000. And of course, 4,000 is written here. There is no Naira, right? You can see, and there is no comma here on the formula side, on the formula bar side. Do not forget that anything you type in Excel will be displayed on the formula bar, right? So let me type NGN. I would manually type NGN 5,000, 5,000, right? Exactly, it's the same thing like this or as this. So, but you notice two things here. One is being aligned to the right, to the left, while one is aligned to the right. Do not forget, I said numerical values are always aligned to the right. The date and the time are always aligned to the right, while alphabetical or text values are aligned towards the left, right? That's why this one is aligned to the left. If you check here, when I click this, it's just 5,000 displayed here. If I click this, you'll see NGN 5,000. That's telling you that this is not correct, and you cannot use this to perform calculation. So let me drag down so we have the same thing. This showing 5,001. I can erase this and leave it 5,000. So 5,000 plus 5,000 will give us 10,000. Is that right? So let's try to perform the calculation and see. 5,000, 5,000 should give us what? Should give us 10K. So equal to, I enter equal to, this cell is cell G9 plus G10 plus G9, right? G9 plus G10 should give us something, right? The two cells. It's giving me value error. This error occurs when you're trying to perform arithmetic calculation with text, right? Do not forget, I told you the only operator that we have that can handle text is called the text operator, which is concatenation operator, or we call it the AND operator, right? Concatenation is a function, while the AND operator is an operator. So we cannot perform calculation, arithmetic calculation with what? Text. So this is a number stored as text. And do not forget the other day I also told us when we enter phone number like this, my phone number is 080, just something like this. Let's assume this is my phone number. You see we have 080 here, boldly written. But if I enter, the 0 is no longer there. This is now seen as what? This is now seen as another thing, like entirely. So let me format it with number and call from this general. I can click on this general and make it number, right? So I've changed it to numbers and it's saying there's no space. I click. I don't need this decimal, but the 0 is no longer showing, right? And you see with your eyes that is being aligned to the right, meaning it's a number. So if I want the 0 to show, what do? I insert a special character, which is this quotation, and type in my 0. Now it's been aligned to the left, telling you that number is stored as text, which is not proper. Okay, so when we get a function, we'll try to check all these things if this is actually a number or a text. Okay, so let's go. That was value error. If I want to calculate this, because this is a text, right, I can use text operator, which is called what? AND operator. The same thing we did, equal to J9, and this time around I will not use plus, I'll use and G word, J10 and G10, and the result will be what? 5,000 NGN 5,000, NGN 5,000. What does the AND operator do for us? AND operator is like a plus addition operator, but it's not addition, right? AND operator, addition will add two things to become one, but AND operator will like two things side by side. It's saying Genesis and mentor, then put Genesis side by side mentor. But the AND operator, the plus operator, which is addition operator, will say what? Carry Genesis and mentor and merge them together to become one thing. You get one, which is the AND operator, will lie them side by side, while the addition operator will merge two of them together to become one giant person. All right. That being said, let me remove one of it here. I'll see what happened. Nothing happened, right? Okay. So that's that for that. We'll move ahead. The next error we'll be looking at is called the division error. How does division error occur? I have 5 or 66. I want to divide it by 0. If you divide anything by 0, okay, anything divided by 0 is what? Come on, you tell me, anything divided by 0, what will be the answer? Okay, 66 divided by 0. Yeah?
It's still 66.
If I divide 66 by 0, what will be the answer?
It's still 66 or it's still 0.
So if I times 66 into 0, what will be the answer?
0.
0. If I divide 66 by 0, cannot be 0. It's undefined. Undefined means it cannot go. Yes, undefined. If I divide 66 by 0, it is undefined. If I multiply 66 by 0, it will return 0. So let's do that. Equal to this divided by this. It will return value error. I mean, it will return division error, right? Division error is saying you cannot divide anything by 0. So that's division error. Okay, reference error. How does it occur? Right? Reference error. What is reference error? Reference error occurs when a cell cannot reference or the calculated cell can no longer reference the cells it was supposed to reference, right? Probably one cell has been cut out, maybe because of space. So if I copy this cell, to a different location, I paste it here, you're still giving me 0, right? What is the reference of this? It will take the 4 cells ahead of it. This takes this from J8, J7, J6, and J5. That's the reference, right? So it means 4 cells were used to get this, right? So if I copy this into another place, it will also take 4 cells above it. So here it took what? From this M5 to M8, which is 3 cells, or how many? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 4. It's same 4. Here is same 4, right? So it will take 4 cells above it. So if I enter figures within these 4 cells, they will be added here automatically. You get? You see? So it will give me the result. But what if I copy this to a space where there will be no space for it to get 4 cells above it, just like this space? We only have 3 cells here. 1, 2, 3. So it will lead to value error. I mean a reference error, because we copied this. This was computed using 4 cells, and here we have only 3 cells. There is no cell above it. So let's see how we can clear this error. If I want to correct it, I will need to come and type something here. Let's say L1 to L4. L1 to L what? 4. And it will be cleared. You see, the error has been cleared. I've removed the error already. Okay, so that's how reference error occurs. Reference error occurs where there is no space to take the reference of the cells that it was copied from. Remember, reference. Here, this cell is taking the cell reference of these ones, right? From what? From J6 to J9, right? So now I need also 4 cells. If anywhere I copy it to, I must have a space for up to 4 cells for it to work for me. You see, this is showing me 0. Why? Because there is nothing here. We've not entered anything. All right, so that's that on errors. So far, we have the hash error here because of space. We have the reference error where the cell cannot reference other cells it was supposed to reference, like incomplete cells. I was supposed to reference 4 cells, use 4 cell references to get my calculation, but I cannot get them. And that only occurs in the calculated cell, where we copy calculated cell, not the precedent. It only occurs with the word dependent cells, right? If I copy this one, whether or not there is space, definitely is 1 cell. It will take it. But if I copy the dependent cell like this one, and the space is not enough for it to reference all the cells, I will definitely get what? Reference error. That's for reference error. Then division error is when we divide something by 0, just like 66 divided by 0 will give us division error. Then we have another error called the value error, where we are trying to compute numbers with what? With text. Numbers with text cannot go. We cannot perform calculation, arithmetic calculation between numbers and text. We can only perform what? Text operator with it. So if I say equal to this cell, which is the error cell, plus this cell, definitely, or let's plus it with this, or anyone, plus it with this, and let's see. And where is that? It definitely gave us what? This division, but let me not use the division. Okay. Let's use a different cell. This one that we've computed, not alphabet already, and we can see it. This plus maybe this, and let's see. It will give us value error because we are trying to calculate what? Text values, which will give us what? Value error. It only takes numbers. So that's what numbers stored as text. All right, so let's move straight to functions. Functions are pre-designed or predefined formulas, right, that help us to solve a particular problem. So when we call a function, instead of us entering the formula we've used to solve a problem, we just call the function, and the function will give us instruction on how to solve the problem, right? Not on how to solve the problem. Give us instruction on what to enter, the values to enter for it to perform the calculation for us. So in the functions, it means the formula or the model or the algorithm have been designed already that, okay, when you want to solve this particular problem, these are the steps you use to solve this problem. So we don't need to follow those steps again. We don't need to follow those set of rules again. We now have a function that's like, maybe, okay, we have trained this model, oh, it is working for us. Next time when you want to do this thing, this is how to do it. Just put this, it will work for us. That's what function is. For instance, we have the sum function. Normally, another name for sum is what? Addition, right? So if we want to add all these numbers together, what do? We use plus, isn't it? So we say equal to this plus this plus this plus this plus J10, and that's it. We get this answer. But that will take us a whole lot of time. We now develop a function that will handle this sum for us, or this addition process for us. And the function is called the sum function, sum. So we enter equal to sum. When you want to perform calculations with form and sum, with functions, after typing the function name, once you see the function, you can click on the function, or you type the complete function and enter word. Close your and open your bracket. When you open the bracket, where we have this is supposed to be J5. So I enter J5 colon J5, sorry, J5, J6 rather, J6 colon J10, J10, right? With the colon, I can easily do that. So is it not the same thing? We got the same result using function. Which one is faster? Using the operator or using the function? Definitely using the function is faster. You might not appreciate it here because the data we have here is more data, but let me shock you. If I decide to drag this further, this is over 20 something cells already that have been entered. So let's say I want to perform calculation from J6 down to J28. So I want to perform addition with this equal to, imagine you saying J6 plus J7. Man, I will not do that with you. Plus J7 plus J8, sorry, 8 plus J9 plus J10. You remain there because you even do mistake along the line. But I know, okay, with J6 to J28, I can highlight this entire, what do we call it again? This entire range. Remember, we have range, we have array, and we also have ranges and array, right? So with the range, I can easily call a function called sum function and specify the range, right? The range of cells. The range of cells start from J6 to J8. That colon means to, right? To J28, 28. I've been able to highlight everything from J3, J6 to J28, and I enter. This is the calculation, or this is the answer or the result. So this have saved me time instead of me typing using the operator like J6 plus J7 plus J8. You see, it will take me a whole lot of time. You get to arrive at the same answer. That's time consuming. And we cannot apply the range with it, because if we apply the range, it will ask us, what do you want to perform? Are you performing multiplication, subtraction, addition, or what? So with the sum function, we can easily do that. So that's a function. So we have basic functions. The basic functions we have, or I call them aggregator functions or aggregate functions. The aggregate functions we have are the sum function, right? The minimum function, the maximum function, the count function. We have the count. We have average function. And what again? We have max mean, sum, count, average. I think that's all. These are what aggregate functions. So if I highlight here, you see the aggregate functions here. We have the average, we have the count, we have the numerical count, we have the minimum, maximum, and sum, right? So these are what functions. These are some basic function or aggregate function. We have other functions there, right, that we can also use. And we'll be using the functions. We'll try as much as possible to treat them one after the other. So if I use this function now, I say, okay, let me perform some calculations with these functions here. I delete this so that the data will be small for us to see. So I have this set of numbers here. I pull this number to another side, like say here. Okay, see here. All right, so I want to check the sum of all these numbers using the sum function equal to, I type sum. I've seen sum there. I can open my bracket, then drag this, or I call the range. So when they are merged, maybe like 1,000 row, 100 row, it will not be advisable for you to drag it that way because it will waste you a whole lot of time. You can easily say what H9 to H14. H9, H14 will still give you the same thing. I enter. That's the sum. So let's look for the minimum number within that range. What do we do? Equal to minimum, which is MIN. Then I call this range. Another thing you can do, once you click on the first cell, you hold your control key and the shift key, then use the down arrow key. It will highlight it to the end of the table. If you are sure that you are calculating to the end of this table here, or the end of the range, this is actually a range and not a table. I enter. Then the minimum value here, you can see that is what? 23. Let's go for max. We do the same thing for maximum function. If I highlight down for maximum here, this is H9. Definitely we need to change this to 9, right? I change this to 9 and I change this other side to 14. You see, to 14, right? 1, 4. And I change this from minimum to max. You know, it's taking us time actually to max. So the maximum value here is actually 1355, 58. All right. So how about count? The count function, what will it do for us? Equal to count what? Open bracket, H, H what again? H9 colon H14. That's the range, right? The count is what? 6. So it's saying the whole of this, the count of this cell is what? 6. So we do average. Average is same thing as saying sum divide by count. All right. So that's average. We'll do that also. Average. Once I see average, I can double click on it. It will open the bracket. I highlight this, enter. So this is the average. Average is 543.2. Right. So let's use average using what? Sum divide by count. Sum divide by the count. It will still give us the same thing, right? Okay, so this is actually giving us 4, 6. 462, and it's giving us 432. Y is F F9 divided by F12. Okay, it did not complete it. I would have said this is H13 and not 14. I would have said H14. Exactly. So average is the same thing. This sum divided by count will give us the average. Exactly the same thing I would have said. So you have to be very, very careful when you are performing calculations. Be careful of what you're entering, the values you're entering, the cells you're entering. So that's that for the functions here. So we have many, many functions in Excel, of which I don't even know some yet. But we'll try as much as possible to see what we can do. So let me add more functions here. We have looked at the count. So I'll start entering other values like, say, Genesis here. Gen. All right. Or let's enter A, B, like A and B. So let's see what average will do for us here. And they count different one. Different one. So we have two cells that are what? Text. And we have how many cells here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cells that are what? That are numerical values. So now we'll go from normal 14 to 16 to include this, right? So I change this to 16 to cover it. Sum is still the same result, right? But to do that, let me just perform that calculation here. Let's see, the same calculation here. We'll see the differences. So the first one, stop. We didn't include numbers, right? Okay. So let's go count. No, don't worry. Let's just change all of them and we'll see how it works. That for minimum, 16 for maximum. They count 16. Again, if you have any question, please drop it on the chat box. So the count is still 6, right? Average is still what? Average is still the same. Okay, the average has changed. No, it has not changed. It's still the same. 16. I want to be sure that everything is 16 now. Okay, now I'll add another count called what? Count all. Count A is for count all. You want to count what? Count A. Count A means count everything that is there. So again, H what? H9 colon H16. Are we following? If you are following, please react with your favorite emoji. So now this count, oh, sorry. I was going to say count A, then enter the function here. React with your favorite emoji. So I'll be sure that you are really following us. If you are not understanding me, please pause me and ask your question immediately. I close my bracket. So count A will count what? 8. Why normal count 6? What are their differences? I'll tell you that shortly. Then let's also look at average. Average what? I think it's average A, average all, equal to average. So we have average A, that's what? Average all. Then we have average if and all of that. So we'll be looking at all these functions one after the other. So let's look at average here and look at average all equal to average A, that's average all. Okay, great, right? Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So now this is the average all. What does this mean to us? The average all. The average only average numbers. Why the average all? averages everything. The count all will count everything for us. So what this means is that whenever you're performing calculation and you don't want non-numerical values to be averaged, you use what? You use average. It will only take the cells that contains numerical values and divide them by the number of cells that contain the numerical value. It will skip every cell that does no what? Numerical value in it. But let me do something here. Let me change this to 0. Look at the average here. If it will change, if I change this to 0, correct, it changed, right? Why did it change? 0 is what? A numerical value, or is a value, a numerical value anyhow. If I delete it, nothing is there. What happens? The average did not change. Because a cell that contains nothing, we cannot just assume that it is 0 or any other thing. It can be 0, it can be text, right? So, but what you should take note of is what, and you see, this average or did not also average it when there is nothing there. It also changed. It means it did not count it. And the count all escaped it. It only counted 8. It jumped this empty cell because there is nothing inside here. It will not count it. It will not be averaged and all of that. So I return back to A and everything returns. So that's what on average of. So we have another function called average if. Average if equal to average if. Okay, sorry. Let me call it. Who is writing on my screen? Michelle. Delete it. You're writing on my screen, Michelle. Stop writing on my screen. Average if. Remove that thing you wrote on my screen, Michelle.
So I don't even know what I was pressing because my hand was safe.
Oh, voila. I'll remove it for you. Okay, so let's continue. This average if. What does the average if function do? The average if is saying average if itself, it goes with a condition, just like the if function. Okay, so average if was, let's go and give it a condition here. So we have average if, what would it do? So I take note of this. So I want to give it a condition that average if, this is the range, right? Comma, I'll give it a criteria. If the cell is greater than what? Is less than 200. Okay, is less than 300. It should average it. So comma, and I say less than what? 300. But I will tell you something here. I'll close my bracket. See what will happen when I close the bracket and enter. It will return error. Why? I need to put this in double quote. I need to put this criteria in double quote and I enter. So it has averaged it now. What does this mean? It's saying average if a cell is less than 300. So let's check the cells that are less than 300 in this place. It is only cell, this and this. So what that means is that we'll say equal to this cell plus this cell. What will be the result? 257. So we are just saying 257 equal to 257 divided by 2. This divided by 2, right? And it will give us what? 128.5. So I'm saying average if the cell is greater than or is less than what? 300. So first pick the range and we'll also pick what? The criteria. So the criteria, first the range, and the criteria must be encoded or quoted, right? It must be quoted, just the way we quoted this, enclosed in quotes. All right, so that's average if. So let's look at something else like count blank. I would intentionally add some things here and remove some. And let's use the count blank. I will still return it. So we have what is called count blank. Okay, we have count if, and we also have count blank. So let me return these values and let me enter others here. All right, so let me take it plus this other one will count this side too, right? So count blank here. We'll count all these ones, right? So we're not going to use what? Array and not a range again. So we'll use this array. So let's check the blank cells in this place. What do? I'll use count blank, and we also have count if, count blank. So I will say I want to count the number of empty cells. And how is this one important to us? Let's assume that we want to perform analysis. Like we're trying to perform analysis in a particular set of data. And we are trying to look for missing values, right? Cells that contain missing values. Or if I know that this my cell, this very column contains 200 people, and I get to the phone number site, it's not up to 200. I know that there is a phone number missing. Let's say our data contains 200 rows, right? And the people here, they're up to 200. I get to the phone number site and I count blank. Okay, or maybe I run a count of it and I'm not seeing something else, right? I'm not saying it's not up to 200. I run a count all. It's not showing me up to that, right? Then if I do count blank, it can easily give me the number of missing values that we have. I can easily report it that okay, we have also number of missing phone numbers. Like we have also number of missing phone numbers. Let me use it that way. 20 phone numbers are missing in our record. 200%, okay, 10% did not supply their account numbers. So that way we can use what? Count blank. So equal to count blank, count blank. So I want to count all the blank within this word array, right? And I close my bracket, I enter. So we have how many blank cells here? If you who can tell me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Actually 15 missing blank cells in this place. So that's how we can check what? Count blank. Though it's like there was one error I didn't mention before. So let's say in this place here, I have something here blocking something. So now I want to use a function called what? Unique, right? I want to check unique word values here in this place. I will check for unique values here. Anyone that is unique should be returned. So we have a spill error here. What is spill error? The spill error, this another error called spill error. Spill error is saying there is no space. So I was supposed to enter from here to this place, but there's a blockage here. So it will return what? A spill error for me, right? Instead of it giving me returning unique values here, it will give me what? Spill error here. You see, immediately I remove that blockage, it will return all the unique values here, right? So let me enter 15 here, and you see that this one is no longer unique. Then I will tell you the difference between unique and distinct very soon. We'll not be able to exhaust all the functions today. We'll continue our study of function next tomorrow. So I'll have 8 here, and I'll have maybe 6 again in this place, and I'll have something else here. All right, so now I will return back unique. I'll get to what? 21 from unique here. If you don't understand, please let me know. 21. What makes a number unique? Thank you very much. I love that. I love that question, right? What makes a number unique? Okay, so let me delete this. Unique. I would explain that shortly. My good friend, or I don't even know you. What's your name, please? The person that asked the question, what's your name? I'm not hearing you. Okay, Prof, is you. Okay. Prof, thank you. All right, so you can see it here for yourself. You can see we are looking for unique numbers. What's the difference between unique and distinct? There are two words that do confuse people. Unique, when we say we are looking for unique person on this call, let me check how many persons are here. One who is here. So we have, okay, let's say we have 2 females here on the call and we have 4 males, right? We'll have, if I'm checking distinct people that are here, we have 2 distinct set of people, which are what? Male and female, right? Which are male and female. But if I'm looking for unique, okay, let me not even use that. Let me use the numbers we have here already. From these numbers that we have here, we are looking for unique numbers in this place, right? We are looking for unique. We'll see that when we are looking for unique, we'll pick, this is all in Excel is different from programming language like Python. In Python, if I'm looking for unique numbers here, it will only pick numbers that appear only once. Do you get that? That makes it unique. If we have like maybe 4 girls, 5 male in this place, and I'm looking for distinct or unique set of people. Okay, let's say we have 1 female and we have 4 males. Exactly like this call, we have 1 female and 4 males. If I'm looking for unique people in the call, I only have 1 unique person, which is what? The female. But if I'm looking for distinct, I'll have 2 distinct set of people, which are male and female. That's distinct now. We have the male and the female appearing. So we'll not count the rest of the males. Again, we'll only count 1 male from it. But the males are not unique because we have more than 1 male and we have only 1 female.